Unit 6, Relationships in Triangles, Question 2a. So question 2a actually wants us to do ratios of directed line segment, okay? So again, the formula for ratio to find the new x is this formula right here, and the formula to find the new y, would be this formula right here, okay? So it says, what is the coordinate of the point on a directed line segment from -9 to 2 to 5 to -10 that partitions the segment into a ratio of 1 to 3. So we know that a line segment is a line that essentially has a starting point and an ending point. So we could essentially draw a x and y axis and then sketch what this graph would look like. So the x axis, the y axis, okay? So the starting point would be at -9, 2, so that -9 for the x, +2 for the y would approximately be right here. Then 2, 5, -10, so 5 for the x, -10 for the y. Okay, that's approximately down here. So we have our line segment, because again these points will connect them together. Okay, so we want to partition it into a ratio of 1 to 3. So when we partition it into a ratio of 1 to 3, we're doing 1 part and 3 parts, so it has a total of 4 parts. Okay, so for us to evaluate what the partition will be to break it up into 1 to 3, we're essentially trying to find this point right here. For me to do that, I need to first evaluate how will the x value change. So the x value would change, to figure out how the x value will change, we'll figure out where we started from. So we started at -9, and then went from -9 to 5, so that means we went up. We added by 14. So we added by 14. So again, you could evaluate, so +9, okay, that would bring it to 0, and then +5 would be 14. So 14, and we're trying to break it up in 1 part out of a total of 4 parts, okay? So when we calculate this, guys, the -9, I would bring it down. Here we can't divide 14 by 4, but you can simplify it by 2. So this would be 2, this would be 7. So when I multiply this would be +7 over 2. So then this is -9 over 1. So a common denominator would be 2. Cross multiply, that would be -18. Cross multiply, that would be 7. And then we are adding, so the butterfly method. So -18 plus 7 is -11 over 2, or -5.5. Okay, so the x value will be -5.5. okay, which looks like it's approximately right here. So now we're going to find the y value by using the same method. So we're going to say y is equal we're going to look at where we started for the y. So we started at 2, and then how did we change? So we went to the negative, we went down, so we subtracted 12. Okay, and then we're breaking up into a ratio of 1 to 3, or 1 part out of a total of 4 parts. Okay, so the 2, I'll bring it down. 4 and -12 can be simplified by 4, so this would be -3. Then you multiply, that would be -3, and then 2 minus 3 is -1. So the y value would be -1, which looks like it's approximately right here. So again, just like that, that would be my answer. Or you can use the formula. I don't really like to use the formula, but you can always use the formula. So when you're using the formula, so it says what's the coordinate of the point of the directed line segment from -4, 8 to 8 to -8, that's partitioned into a segment, partition the segment into a ratio of 5 to 3. You can label what the things are. So your x1 would be this value right here, -4. Your y1 would be this value right here, 8. Your x2 would be 8, and your y2 would be -8. Okay, so then your ratios, or your r's, would be, this would be your first ratio, this would be your second ratio. Okay, so all you would have to do is just substitute the values. So you would say x is equal to, so we use this formula, so x1, which is -4, plus ratio 1, which is 5, over ratio 1 plus ratio 2, which is 5 plus 3, multiplied by x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is -4. So you get -4 plus 5 over 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 minus -4, and negative sign negative turns into a positive. 8 plus 4 is 12. So then now you need to, so this is the same as 12 over 1. So the negative 4, you bring it down. You multiply the numerators. 5 times 12 is 60, positive 60. 8 times 1 is 8. You can't divide 60 by 8, so now you need to simplify it. So the denominator here is a 1. So you get a common denominator by multiplying these two. You get 8. Cross multiply, you get negative 32. Cross multiply, you get 60. And then what are we doing? We're adding. So negative 32 plus 60, I believe, is 28. Yep, so 28 over 8, which can be simplified. So 28 over 8 can be simplified by 4. So that would be 7 over 2. So the x value would be 7 over 2 or 5.5. 7 over 2, or no, sorry, or 3.5. Okay, you can put 7 over 2 if you would like. So again, guys, that's how you find the x value. So to find the y value, you do the same thing, but instead with the y, so your y1 is 8, and then you plus your ratio 1 over ratio 2, which is just the same thing right here, so 5 over 8, multiplied by y2 minus y1, so that would be negative 8 minus my y1 of 8. Okay, so that will give me 8 plus 5 over 8. Negative 8 minus 8 is negative 16. We can actually cross simplify because 16 and 8 are divisible by 8. So 1 time, negative 2 times. So the 8 you bring down, plus 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. So 8 minus 10 is negative 2. So the y value will be negative 2. Okay, I prefer my method because it's a lot shorter, okay, and it doesn't depend on a formula or a calculator.